of millions of dollars was spent on this election, including public money to run the election. It seems to me that this was just a terrible, terrible waste.
KC24 political analyst and Fresno State political science professor Thomas Holyoke questioning the $275 million taxpayer price tag on the recall election. At last check, the Secretary of State's office says there's only about a 42% turnout on the recall. It hadn't been that low in California since the 2014 gubernatorial election. Some lawmakers already looking into recalling the recall process. So we want to bring in our Capitol Bureau reporter Ashley Zavala following this developing story from the state capitol. And Ashley, what do lawmakers really want to change about the process here?
Well, at this point, the chairman of the legislative elections committees just aren't ready to say specifically what they'd like to put on the table. I know the big issue with some of them is question 2, which allows recall candidates to replace a governor with just a plurality of the vote. And it seems like on both sides of this recall, there seems to be an appetite to potentially change that part. Orrin Heatley, who is the proponent of this recall, said that he would potentially consider to be on board with that as well. So I know that's at the top of the agenda, and then really everything's going to be on the table for a set of hearings that are going to start not necessarily this month, but possibly in October, to help legislators put something together for this 2022 legislative session to then bring to voters.
What comes next for Governor Newsom here? We all know he has hundreds of bills to sign or veto either way. But I think a lot of people are wondering, we're seeing that COVID surge again, Ashley. Is there any talk of another shutdown in the state?
At this moment, just a couple of days away from the recall, I'm not hearing anything in that space. I know the San Joaquin Valley is a bit of a concern for, I know the California Department of Public Health that has issued kind of a surge order for that area because of hospital capacity. But right now at this moment, Governor Gavin Newsom does not seem to be ready to talk about mandates, to talk about shutdowns, to really talk about any of that.
All right, Ashley Zavala from the state capitol. Appreciate the time. All right, coming up next, our panel is going to weigh in on the recall and the one email that may have changed the outcome.